the rule of law is supposed to prevent tyranny. And you talk a little bit about how that makes it defined negatively, but we also miss how rule of law is defined positively. Can you speak to that distinction between the negative definition and the positive definition?
Yes. So the negative idea is that we experience our liberty, the freedoms we hold within a political order, in the spaces where law is not. So the rule of law is a way of being ruled where you only have those encroachments. Note my language, like it's all loaded negatively. You only have those encroachments upon your liberties when those encroachments have been properly framed, possessed, exercised, and answerable to law. So it's like that's your kind of compromise position. If we're going to live among each other in a political order in which there is, centralized authority, etc., we should be free in the spaces where law is not, and in the spaces where we are unfree or encroached upon, they must be appropriately framed through law. And that law should make it clear that we know exactly what government is asking of us and what it's going to do with us. Now, I'm sounding very Hayekian here. Like we have quite a strong notion of get off my back, basically, stay away unless you do so in accordance with really quite tight prescriptions where everything must be very clear and rule bound and all the rest of it. So that's a negative framing. So it's an idea of us possessing liberty in the spaces where law isn't. It's presupposing, we've got some lovely continuities here, PJ, in how we're going from one point to another, because it's presupposing the presence of a person who wants this, right? Like this is what you want in life. You want to be free is to be untouched. And I know in the United States, like traditions of libertarianism are very, very strong, yes. Right? So maybe it's like, damn right, that's what I want.
Don't tread on me.
I have watched Tiger King. It's also, I say to people, the reason to watch this is it is a study in American libertarianism. Yeah. Like it's a really, it is showing you something about political order and ways of thinking about it, right? Ways of thinking about subjectivity, Who knew that there could be such a analysis of Tiger King as a study of subjectivity in political order? But this is what is going on, right? Is that it's presupposing a person who wants things to go that way. Now, what if a person needs certain supports to be provided non-privately, in the sense not just from family or friends, in fact they may not have family or friends, but want supports that the state can provide in order to participate fully in the political order? Can we have a conception of the rule of law that is all about being free in the spaces where law is not? And that's when you have to start flipping the idea and say, okay, if we tether ourselves to an overly negative conception of the rule of law, we're immediately setting up an opposition between a rule of law order that presupposes this free individual with an interest in their liberty being left alone, except in ways that are very, very clearly circumscribed by law, being rules, being bound, being announced beforehand. And there's all problems with that as well, right? What's being presupposed there. But what if we actually need, for example, social services that are, we use the institutions of democracy, of representative democracy, to debate the need for public schools or public health care or unemployment benefits or something like that. And we legislate these things and we use our tax system to redistribute the money in service of these things. Now, if you are all about the rule of law freedom is experienced in the place where law is not, then you can see how the logic of what I've just set up is just an anathema, right? You can't allow that. That is an encroachment on private individuals by the will of something beyond them, being legislatures. So you end up in a debate about the rule of law versus a welfare state, for example, where the rule of law is courts and private property and individuals and freedom in the space where law is not, etc., and that its opposition is something like active legislatures taxing you, redistributing it, and so forth. It's just too crude an opposition, right? And these are the kinds of polemical oppositions that have gone on over time in debates about the rule of law, and something that I think the intellectual left has a little bit to answer for is to throw the rule of law out in pursuit of welfare state ideals, as if we are dealing here with inherent compatibility. And not all people think that. If you're going to take a middle ground, it's like, how might we reharness it?